We were married on May 1st, 1999.
Everything was pretty good for the first 10 years. I'd go hang out with my buddies and go to ball games and just stuff that I normally done. And, you know, she was all right with it at first. But then it kept getting more. And she'd stay home. And she didn't hang out with the people I hung out with. So she would just say, go on. Needless to say that she just basically quit going anywhere with me.
We just drifted apart. We had different friends, different outlooks on what we wanted and who we wanted to spend our time with and what we wanted to do.
After that, I met this person as a friend, and from there they were having problems. She was married, but anyway, they were having problems, and I thought, you know, I was being a friend. I'd talk, text, and I thought I was doing nothing wrong at the time.
Because all he was doing was texting.
I mean, I didn't think I was doing anything wrong, but I was doing something wrong because I was talking to somebody else that wasn't my wife, a female that wasn't my wife, and that's wrong. I called her and I told her, and it went downhill from there pretty much.
When he called me that morning and he said, I have something to tell you. Well, I knew something was wrong because he never calls me at 6:30 and says, I need to tell you something. And he said, I've been texting someone, but, you know, it's no big deal, and I didn't want you to hear it and take it the wrong way. So I said, okay. And actually at that point, I was mad, but I didn't want to talk to anybody about it. I didn't address it. Nothing happened. I just said, don't do it again. If it happens again, please tell me. So he swore, I will tell you. Nothing changed. We continued on the way we were. We just had a lot of struggles in our marriage other than where we were going. We had a lot of stress. We had, you know, there were a lot of other issues. And I guess all that takes a toll and you don't realize it.
Mother's Day rolls around, and we fought half the night. Needless to say, her kids were home. Things got broke, and worst came to worst. Called the law. You know, it was bad. She left and went out riding around, and then she came back, and I'd killed all the power to the garage. No way for her to get in. So she drives her car through the garage. She won't in the house. She drove her car through the garage.
Not 100 miles an hour.
No, but you still drove it through the garage door, so it doesn't matter. It came through the garage door.
I very slowly eased through and made the garage door pop open so that I could get back in the house. The law showed
Because
I guess at that point, he looked at me and said, I don't love you anymore. I want a divorce. And I was broken.
Yep. And after that, I filed for divorce.
Ephesians, when it says, do not sin in your anger, and, you know, I broke every rule. I sinned beyond belief that night. I was angry. I broke the plates in the house. I was screaming and yelling and doing a lot of things I shouldn't do. But yeah. So I had a lot that I needed to change about myself. It wasn't just him. We both. And anytime something like that happens, you're really quick to find what's wrong with your spouse, but you're not quick to find what's wrong with yourself. So I think that was a process for both of us to actually figure out that it wasn't just him, and it wasn't just, you know, it wasn't just me. It was both of us. So yes, I went to jail. In the few hours that I stayed in that holding cell, I saw the writing in the holding area that said, how did I get here? You know, somebody had scribbled with a pen, and it said something about, God, please help me. I miss my kids. And I was thinking, that's me. You know, I shouldn't be here. I'm too good to be here. You know, but I'm here. And the same people that come in here every day, they're no different from me. It could be me, it could be you. So I think God brought me down from here to here.
I hadn't made no contact. She ended up getting another place, and I'd filed for divorce, and I hadn't talked to her at all, hadn't seen her out. You know, she has an older daughter that was telling me that Mom's going to church, and Mom's doing this, and Mom's doing that, and I'd actually, by that time, realized that, you know, I was alone. 4 weeks went by. It was on a Sunday. I'll never forget it. I was laying there, and just everything in me was just tore all to pieces, just killing me. God was telling me, you got one more shot. And I was thinking, man, how am I going to get one more shot? How's she even going to talk to me after what I done? Her daughter called. In the middle of all this, she called. I told her, you know, how I felt. She said, well, call her. She'll talk to you. So I picked the phone up and I called her. A couple days went by. Our court date was set for a couple days. Actually, it was, I think, that Monday. I talked to her on Sunday and that Monday. So we went back to court.
The judge sentenced us to counseling.
Yeah. He wouldn't grant the divorce. We had to go to counseling before he would grant. He wouldn't
just drop the divorce. He wouldn't just drop it.
Because I asked him to drop it. And he wouldn't drop it. You're going to do one or the other. So
I actually found a Christian counselor in Lexington.
But when we done that, we were talking, but nothing had changed. I mean, I hadn't felt like I'd done anything that awful at that time.
We were struggling.
Yeah, we were still struggling. But we were together, but we were struggling. So she comes home one evening from work, and she says, we're going to a small group Monday at 7. I'm like, we are?
The couple that had the small group, her son was friends with my son. So she said, would you all like to come to the house? We're going to have some food and a little Bible study. You know, would you all like to come? I knew several people there, so I felt comfortable with it. But I guess when I came home and said, we're invited to a small group, they're just going to eat and have a Bible study. You know, I don't know how receptive he was to it, so
I went.
But it took several times, you know,
of
attending and talking and sharing. You know, they would share something as small as having an argument
over garbage,
over taking the garbage out. But it made us feel more comfortable because that way we could relate to, okay, these people aren't perfect.
Right.
And, you know, even though they're Christians and even though they appear to have a perfect home on the outside, on the inside, there's little things every day that take a toll on every one of us.
They have problems too.
We started coming to Summit. We felt led to come here, and it just took off. I mean, it was amazing. We started attending Mark's small group on Wednesday nights, and we started developing friends, and the friends and the connections. And we knew a lot of people that already came here, and there were several people that knew what we were going through, and they had already invited us several times.
We started coming here. We started coming to Summit. We quit arguing and fighting with the little things.
But forgiveness is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. And you can say, I forgive you. And then 2 days down the road, you're mad over it again. So forgiveness is not something that just happens. It's not something you just say and it happens. It's a process. And you have to pray every day, Lord, help me get through this day without being angry, without bringing up something from the past. Help me to get through this day, just today. And you just take one day at a time.
Our relationship is wonderful. I believe we have 180 compared to where we were at. I mean, totally 180.
And I think it's a transformation that you can see a change in your spouse. Because I can see that he's a totally different person.
We've learned to deal with our problems where we can talk to one another. Before we couldn't talk to one another. And now we can. And it all goes back to we pray together. We're active in the church.
And we have Christian friends.
Yeah.
Christian friends who hold you accountable.
Right. So, to me, our marriage is better than it was the day we got married. Because we didn't know what we wanted then. And now we do.
No matter how good you think your marriage is, the closer you both get to God, the better your marriage is going to be.
Yep. And don't give up.